I'm just going to add one thing, and just to make this kind of practical, and give you a practical example of why these things are important, and why, when I say Buyer 2.0, I mean it is that 3 years ago now, and this is where the Huthwaite organization kind of had its own epiphany around this, is three years ago, the largest customer we acquired that year, a multi-billion-dollar manufacturing organization. When they became our customer, we talked to them about the process that they went through in selecting us as their vendor of choice. And what they told us was very interesting, and it completely changed our how we think about the market, how we think about buyers. Because they told us that it was actually a year before that they had decided that they needed to undertake a sales performance improvement initiative. So they put together a team within the organization, and they did some research, and they drew up a list of about 10 to 11 organizations that they thought could help them. And then they each took a couple of those organizations, and they said, go off and find out everything you can about these people. Find out their reputation, find out about their products and services, all of that. With the one caveat, and that's not to engage directly with any of these organizations, because when we finally engage with them, we want to do so from a position of strength, of knowing a lot about them, so that we can have a more valuable conversation. So they spent about 8 months researching these 11 organizations, and after 8 months they whittled it down to 3 organizations that they were going to contact. So there's a couple of points there. Number one is 11 companies, including ourselves, were involved in a sales process for a year that we didn't know anything about. And 8 of those companies still don't know that they were in that sales process, because they got dumped out of it without anybody ever contacting them. And then we went on, and we actually ended up getting the business. And as we discussed it with them, part of the reason why the 3 organizations at the end were selected was because they had the most expansive presence online, and they were actually able to facilitate the self-discovery process that the buyer was going through. So as the buyer went out and did their research, they were able to find out about their products and services, they were able to read their blogs, they were able to see their YouTube sites, they were able to gather all of this information. They were able to review their LinkedIn groups, see how they viewed the world, what they did. They were able to understand who their customers were. They were able to reach out to their customers in their network and do this incredible amount of self-discovery, so that when they actually made contact, that we immediately could get down to the business of figuring out how we could help them, and they understood a lot about us. So it's really practical and tangible, is that, each of you in the room today, including ourselves, are very, very likely to be deep in sales processes that we know nothing about. And we have the choice, either we can facilitate that self-discovery process, or we can be blissfully ignorant, and we can be dumped out of sales processes that we don't know anything about. So it really behooves us to make it easy for buyers to go through a process that doesn't necessarily involve us directly engaging with them for part of the sales process.